everyone, I'm Lily Kazembe, and this is DAOFitLife, a YouTube channel dedicated to busy professionals who want to be fit but don't have the time to figure it out. If you're new to the channel or just stopping by, welcome. If you happen to like the content in today's video, please feel free to subscribe to the channel so you will get future updates. And also, if you're a returning subscriber, thanks for coming back. As always, thanks for your support of both this channel and the blog, DAOFitLife.com. Now, today we are going to be talking about a topic that is very near and dear to us in the professional services environment, and that is staying fit while traveling. So I rarely call myself an expert on anything, but I'm definitely an expert in this area because since basically I began my career, it's international in nature. So I've been traveling a lot, both in the continental U.S., probably to most of the 50 states, and internationally, as I suggested earlier. So I've definitely picked up a lot of tricks along the way to keeping on your fitness routine because it's definitely possible. It's definitely doable. Just like with most things in fitness, you need a little bit of strategy, you need a little bit of planning, you need some life hacks, and that's what I'm here to give you. So there's a lot to talk about, and I wrote an article about it on my blog, which I've linked in the description on YouTube. But I'm going to focus on a few topics today, and then maybe I will do a few more in the next one. I'll see what I hear from you guys, and I'll decide. Today, I'm going to focus on a couple of things. One is a plan of attack for working out while you're traveling. And the second is starting your day off right nutrition-wise. My strategy for handling the hotel breakfast buffet. Because that is a steel bear trap that many of us can fall into, that I have fallen into many times. But again, it's about strategy. If you have the right strategy, you can take the right approach. Okay, so let's take a step back here. So why do a lot of us have difficulty balancing fitness and travel? So the main reason is routine or lack thereof. You're not waking up in your bed. You're in a different time zone. You're jet lagged. You have a million things to do. I mean, there is a purpose for your travel. Often it's business. Often it's crammed with meetings, or it's a conference, or you're running around traveling here and there. You need time to get settled. You need time to get checked into your hotel, figure out where you're going, figure out who you're meeting, figure out where you're going to dinner. It's just nuts. There's so much to think about. And so your total routine gets fallen by the wayside. And so it can be really tempting to just discard that part of your routine and just say, well, I'll get back on it when I get back home. But for those of us who travel a lot, I mean, that's not a great option. We've got to bake that into our current way of life and even use some of these practices if, for example, we're on vacation, for 1 or 2 weeks. Like, you definitely want to take a vacation and take the time to rest. But part of vacation is recharging, and a big part of that is recharging your body by getting exercise and eating healthy food, while also eating the food you enjoy. So here is some of my tips for staying on your workout routine when you're traveling. And it starts when you pack. Okay, so you're packing your suitcase, right? And, you have your clothes, your toiletries, whatnot, but consider packing some additional workout equipment. And this is something that I wrote about in the blog post, but pack some sliders, and I don't mean like the burgers, I mean the floor sliders. There's plenty of routine workout exercises that you can do, and they work really great on hotel room carpet flooring. And also pack some body bands. Now you can get the larger body bands. I like the ones from Arena Fitness, or you can get the smaller circular bands. Like, they're essentially made from rubber. You can order tons of different brands from Amazon. But this is so wherever you are, if you happen to not have access to a gym, you can still have access to equipment where you can get some resistance training, and all of the above items, which I mentioned, are really inexpensive, and they can help you do various exercises that I also have on my YouTube channel under the DAOFitLife travel workout playlist. So that starts when you pack. You have a backup plan. Now, I used to actually pack a small 3-pound weight into my suitcase, but I got stopped by the TSA once when doing that, so I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think that's part of what they allow. But there's a lot you can actually do before you travel to also prepare. So normally when you travel, especially if it's for a conference or a client meeting, a lot of times everyone typically stays at the same hotel. So your hotel usually is picked, but if you have a latitude of what hotel you may stay at in the area, you might want to consider doing a little bit of research and seeing which hotel may have the most spacious gym with the most equipment. You can pretty much guarantee that all of the big chain, big box hotels are going to have nice gyms because they need to be competitive, and that's a part of staying competitive. Whereas the more boutique-y, chic-y hotels are probably not going to have a very big gym or may not have a gym at all. And this is especially true, for example, when you're outside of the US, when you're in Europe, for example, it's not as much of a priority to have a gym in the hotel accommodation. But again, if you stay with an American-based brand, it's very likely that you will have a hotel. And the upside that you will have a hotel with a gym. And the upside of that is a lot of times you're going to have that gym all to yourself because, I don't know, I found a lot of people, tourists when they're on vacation, the gym isn't exactly a priority for them to go to. But since it is a priority to me, I take advantage of the fact that I'm the only one there. I'll spread all my stuff. I'll do mega circuits. It's a lot of fun. So if the gym is your jam and you reap a lot of benefits from working out at the gym, definitely, quote, case the joint before you go and see what kind of gym setup they have there, because certainly you can't pack a Peloton into a suitcase. Although many gyms are also now starting to have the Peloton bikes, so you can see if there is such a piece of equipment and plan your workout accordingly. Another thing that I like to do is when I actually check into the hotel, one of the things I ask reception is, where's your gym? And they'll tell me. And then after I go to my room and unpack, I'll usually go to the gym the day before I plan on using it because I like to get the lay of the land. I like to understand the layout. And so that way, when I actually go to use the gym to exercise, I don't waste, 10 minutes figuring out where's this machine and what do I use and et cetera, et cetera. I already have that all mapped out. Now, another workout option besides the actual hotel gym, especially if you're in the continental US, is take advantage of local workout studios because it can actually be a lot of fun. So just like there are chain hotels, everything is a chain these days, right? We live in a world of capitalism, of corporate conglomerates. So there's going to be corporate conglomerate workout chains. So there are things like in major cities, there's Soul Cycle, there's Equinox gyms, there is Solid Core, which is a reformer type of class. There's Barry's Boot Camp and Orange Theory for those of you who like the boot camp type of class. There's Rumble Boxing Studios. There's Core Power Yoga, which is hot yoga. But besides the big brand names, there are a ton of local businesses that you can easily schedule a drop-in class with. So the way that you do this, there are two easy ways to access this information. One is with the Mind Body app, which is free. You download it on your phone. Many of the classes, many of these boutique studios actually use this as their class booking and payment interface. So you have the advantage of already using their system. So you can basically use it to identify your location and then find the nearest type of class you want to go to, whether that be a CrossFit, a yoga, or any type of workout basically is something that they'll have on there. And you can actually book the class and pay for the drop-in fee through, so that way you can just show up at the place where you're going to work out and then just go. You're already signed up. You have a guaranteed spot in the class. And another option is ClassPass. Now this you have to pay for, but the more basic membership fee per month is relatively inexpensive. If you just want 20 credits, 10 or 20 credits to be able to take a couple of classes. And you also have the ability to book local workout classes. And both of these actually work internationally. I've used MindBody, for example, to book a bar workout class in London, and it's just really easy to find local classes. So there's another option there, but that's something you may want to figure out before you even go to your destination, because the good thing about business travel is that usually a lot of things are already organized for you. You have your itinerary, so you have a sense of, well, when can I fit in my workout? Is it in the morning before the event starts? Is it in the gap between when the event ends and the dinner and cocktails that evening? So, for example, in that case, if the event starts very early in the morning, sometimes what I will do is I will plan my workout to be between the end of the afternoon part or the afternoon meetings. And if there's a large dinner gathering or night event, it's usually preceded by 60 to 90 minutes of the cocktails to give people time to settle in. But I use about 30 minutes of that as a buffer, because the main event is really the dinner, and I don't usually drink the cocktails, so I have the advantage of using that extra time. But again, you're going to want to plan very carefully. Now, another great place you can work out is right in your hotel room, and that's why I said to pack that extra equipment. Now, I think a lot of us are a little bit better versed in this because of the pandemic, that we all became used to working out at home. And downloads of apps increased by almost half in 2020. I have on my blog a finished app decision tree, which I've linked in the blog post, that's linked in the description, but it has selections of all kinds of different apps that you can pick that will work excellently while you travel. I'm traveling now, and the app that I'm using is the Sweat app by Kayla Itsinas. She's a world famous Australian trainer who recruited a bunch of other trainers to design these workout programs. And a lot of them have an at-home or no equipment option. So I have this app, and I select to do the workouts in my hotel room in cases where I am somewhere where there is no gym, and that happens. I mean, I've worked out in hotel rooms in really remote parts of the United States where I'm traveling, or in places that are in the countryside. I've even taken the workout outside, on hotel balconies, in a teeny tiny hotel space that's not much bigger than the size of a closet. I mean, these apps allow you to do any kind of workout anywhere, and that's one of my favorite options. But pick something that's right for you. Yoga is another great option because you don't really need more than a mat with space, and you don't have to take a yoga mat with you in your suitcase, and you can use one of the many hotel towels you have as a mat. And the other great thing about a hotel room for a workout, there are several advantages. One is you actually have a lot of equipment. There's all this gratuitous furniture like sofas and chairs that you can use. On my DAOFitLife travel workout playlist, I actually have some chair workouts in there. there's all kinds of strength training movements that you can do using a chair. Another advantage of a hotel room workout is it simply works if you don't have enough time to go to the gym or an outside studio. So you may only really realistically have 30 minutes in the morning, or you may be in a situation where you're staying at a hotel, but so is everyone else, and you don't want to have to go there when everyone else is going there and worry about if, the equipment is free, or you just want the privacy. Maybe you don't want to necessarily see people that you work with or worry that you're going to run into a client. It might be awkward, but your hotel room is your sanctuary. So take advantage of that sanctuary or mix it up. I mean, if I'm somewhere for more than a few days, I may do a hotel room workout, hotel gym workout, an outside studio workout, and of course the ultimate workout that you have on your side when you're traveling, especially if there's leisure built into it, is walking. Walking is an excellent form of cardio. Specifically, it's an excellent form of LEAF, which is low intensity, steady state cardio. So you're going to want to take advantage of the fact that you are going to be doing walking when you're sightseeing or when you're going to the local office, especially if you're in an urban area. Try using walking as your main means of transportation instead of by bus or by Uber or by subway. Just get the extra steps, and you really actually get to know the city that way. For a period of time, I was going to Philadelphia a lot, and the more I went, the more I walked. And I found that by doing that, I actually got to know a lot of the city and got a lot of exercise as well, and took workouts in basically every single studio that was on Walnut Street. Like I actually made great friends that way. And that's another thing. That's another great thing about taking advantage of a city's local workout shops is you can form relationships there. You can even invite your clients to go there. I've taken my clients to SoulCycle and bar class with me because most people love working out. And if you tell your client, well, I know of this workout place and I'm planning to go to a class, do you want to come with? In many cases, they're gonna jump at the chance because it's a great way to blow off steam and to bond. So that summarizes my main tips about working out. It's definitely possible. You have to do a little bit of planning, but once you get into the habit of doing it, it becomes a part of your routine that you do to prepare for travel, just like you do when you pack. All right, let's move on to the food, because we all know that no matter how meticulous you may be about working out, you can definitely out-eat your good workout, and you cannot outrun a bad diet. So one of the places where you're going to be challenged with this is the hotel breakfast buffet. So a lot of times the hotel breakfast will be included with your room stay, or you'll have the option to pay a nominal fee to have that included. And I actually recommend if you have this option to take it, because usually the setup is such that you have an idea of what food you are going to get, so you can more appropriately plan for your calories and macros that day. And this is one important point that I need to stress. So in my very first DAOFitLive on springing into fitness for busy professionals, which you can find on this channel, I talked about the importance of food tracking. In order to know and to have an understanding of where you need to be at fitness goal-wise, you need to understand what's going in and what energy you're putting out. And that clock doesn't stop when you're on vacation or when you're traveling. You have your phone with you. You're going to have what I recommend is the MyFitnessPal app with you, and you're going to continue to track your food. And if you're on vacation, you're going to track your food, but with the understanding that whatever calorie goal you set for yourself, you'll probably exceed because you're on vacation. And that's okay. But the point is in keeping the habit, because once you drop the habit, it's super hard to pick it back up. So continuing on with our topic of hotel breakfast buffets. So you elect to go, and you go, and let me just set the scene for you. Imagine you are at the breakfast buffet. You walk in, and what do you see? You see all of the hot foods. You see the eggs, the bacon, the sausage, the potatoes, and then you veer over a little bit, and then you see the bread, the bagels, the pastries, and the muffins. And then somewhere over in another corner, you see the cereal, the yogurt, the fruits, the deli meats, usually including smoked salmon, and I think I mentioned yogurt. I think that's about it. Let me know if I left anything out. And somewhere in there, there's usually pancakes as well. Like, what good breakfast buffet doesn't have pancakes? So there's all this, and you go, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, it's your first meal of the day. You're usually jet lagged and thrown off, and you may not have gotten the best sleep, so everything looks good. But you want to avoid a situation where you pile up your plate and you don't even know what you've eaten. You've got to be strategic about it. So here is what I would suggest. Walk in. Usually the first thing you want or think of is coffee, and either it'll be poured or you go to a coffee station and get it. Get your coffee, get a gigantic glass of water and drink that. Don't drink the juice. That's just basically like, pouring sugar, injecting sugar into your bloodstream. So forget the juice, just drink the water and the coffee. And another caveat about the coffee is that if you are in the type of hotel breakfast situation where there's a machine that makes like lattes and cappuccinos, like that's really cool, but you have no idea what type of milk you're getting and whether they have sugar premixed into that. So I would recommend that you simply get plain coffee and then add in your milk of choice. If they have an almond milk or non-dairy milk, great, that's typically lower in calories and fat. But even if all they have is regular milk or half and half, you can at least get a ballpark idea of how much you are consuming instead of having it all premixed together. Okay, so you get your coffee and your water. And the next part that I would recommend, so you want to do this in parts. So it's not just like all at once and willy-nilly. And there's actually a logic to it, which I'll explain in a second. Get your cold food first, okay? And so what are the components of a healthy, well-rounded meal? As I explain in my Little Black Dress meal planning method, you want to have protein as your black dress. Like, that's the main part of your outfit. You want to have a protein, you want to have carb and fat accessories. So within the cold food space, usually yogurt will be a great source of protein. But you want to make sure you go for the plain yogurt and not the flavored yogurt, because that's usually flavored with added sugar and high fructose corn syrup if it is purported to be a fruit flavored yogurt. So you get your yogurt and maybe you get some fruit. And fruit is a great thing to start with for breakfast because it has fiber, it'll hydrate you, and it'll kind of like put out the immediate hunger fire so that you don't go overboard on everything else later. So you have the cold food while you're drinking your coffee, and this also serves the purpose in making sure that your coffee doesn't get cold while you're eating your food, and your food doesn't get cold while you're drinking your coffee. You see the logic there, right? Okay, so then it's time for the hot food options. So eggs are an excellent source of protein. And, in fact, a lot of studies show that people who eat eggs for breakfast are less hungry throughout the day. So I definitely like to make sure that, especially when someone else is cooking the eggs, I get eggs for breakfast. But you have to be strategic in the types of eggs you choose. So usually they'll have different varieties. They will have had the the fried eggs that are usually, in a bin, or there's going to be a bin of scrambled eggs, and occasionally they have hard boil and soft boil eggs. And if it's a really good breakfast buffet, what do they have? An omelet station. So I would highly recommend that you either go for the omelet station or the hard-boiled eggs. And this is why. Because usually with the pre-fried eggs, they're fried in a lot of oil and butter. And so this kind of like defeats the purpose of having a healthy egg. And then with the scrambled eggs, a lot of times you notice they have a certain milky, fluffy texture. They're mixed with a lot of milk and butter. So again, unquantifiable amount, not quite sure what you're getting. Whereas if you get the hard-boiled egg, you know exactly what you're getting. An egg is an egg. You log the 72 calories per egg, you're done. The omelet station is also a great option if you get the right ingredients. So I would normally stick with egg and some vegetables, maybe add some turkey, because you know that omelet is going to be fried in a little pan with a little oil, so you don't need any additional cheese. So those are great options for eggs. So everything that I've mentioned up to this point is a great consumable breakfast. Now, what do you have left? You have left what I call the 20 part of your meal. So my approach to nutrition is not a certain diet, which I've talked about in my previous YouTube broadcasts, which are all on this channel under the webinars playlist, but taking an 80-20 approach, a balanced approach where 80% of the foods you eat are healthy whole foods, but 20% are foods that you eat totally for enjoyment. So this part of the breakfast buffet is a chance to get your 20%, but that you save until the very end. So the 20% could either be a couple strips of bacon or sausage, or maybe a pancake or a muffin or a waffle. So you want to generally pick between one of those, and that's your 20. But you don't want to get all of those at once in the beginning. And that basically summarizes my approach to the hotel breakfast buffet. It really just arms you with a sense of fullness, so that when you go out into wherever the city is, especially if you're on vacation, you're not going to fall prey to all of the food stands and bakeries and everything that looks good. And if you're in a business travel situation, you have a lot less control over the food that is served to you in the place where you may be meeting or where a conference is. So this way you can make sure that you eat a full, maybe even getting a third to a half of your calories at this meal, so that where you have less control over the food you are consuming, it won't matter as much because you will have taken care of it before when you had more control. So I hope that made a little sense, and I hope that my tips about making sure you get your workout in made a lot of sense. And I would love to hear from you guys about what are some tips you do. Tell me in the comments. Tell me if there's anything I haven't addressed or if you have any questions. But I'm definitely happy to keep talking about this topic, and I will alert you to the next DAOFitLive video. If you subscribe to the blog at DAOFitLife.com, you'll get the email. And if you subscribe to this channel, you'll get a notification the next time there is a video. But in the meantime, I just wanted to thank everyone for stopping by. If you like the content, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And in the meantime, stay safe and healthy.